Hey everyone, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Wendy Epstein, a devoted mom and compassionate insurance professional who helps families secure peace of mind through final expense and income protection coverage. With the heart for service, Wendy is on a mission to make sure no family is left unprotected during life's most difficult moments. How are you doing today, Wendy?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. It's a good day. I'm enjoying spring. We're out of the bitter cold. Probably won't have another blizzard. Who knows? It's the Midwest. We could.
Right.
But we'll see. No, I was excited to have you on. You're doing a lot of cool things. You're helping a lot of people in ways that a lot of them, maybe they don't want to think about. So I was excited to have you on. I've enjoyed our previous conversations. But to start off, where are you located? Where are you calling in from?
I am in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. You've been there for a while, or are you newer to the area?
I have been here in July, it will be 10 years.
Okay.
I am originally a Midwesterner also. I escaped the snow in 1999.
Yeah, no. What part of the Midwest?
I'm originally from the Chicago suburbs.
Okay. All
So
right. Yeah, no, you get snow. It's-
it snowed 2 feet on my 40th birthday in 1999, and I really wanted to move to Arizona. But my significant other at the time, my ex husband, decided he did not want to move to Arizona. So we ended up in Atlanta. So from 1999 till 2015, when I moved to Jacksonville, I was in Atlanta. Never really loved it. Didn't like the traffic, but it was a great place to raise my daughters. And I ended up moving to Jacksonville because my older daughter went to Indiana University. So we paid 4 years of out of state tuition for her. And when my younger one decided to come to Florida State, my ex husband said to me, "Hey, if you move to Florida," because I guess I changed from wanting to live in Arizona to live near a beach. He said, "If you move now," this was in like June or July of 2015, then she'll get in state tuition at Florida State. And so I moved. And
okay. I got you. So 10 years there. You have your haunts. If you have friends coming into town that have never visited before, where are you going? What are you doing? And what's for dinner?
all right. Ooh, I love that. Okay. So, one of my favorite things to do is dance. So, there is something called a silent disco. Not everybody knows about it, although I guess they're on cruises now. So, more and more people are hearing about it. But basically, you put on some headsets, and there are three, at least the ones that we do here, there's three different stations. One might be house music, one might be more country, one might be, different stations. And so you can't really hear what's going around unless somebody's singing really loud on their channel. And you dance as if no one's watching, and it doesn't matter. So that's the first thing. The fountain. So I live right on the river in Jacksonville, and we have a fountain that at night lights up and plays music, which is really cool. There's a lot of fun things to do here. And then my absolute favorite restaurant is literally walking distance from me. There's some great food here. But my absolute favorite restaurant is called BB's, and its sister restaurant is called Biscotti's. And they have this dessert case, like with these huge cakes. And so you always have to save room for dessert.
Oh, that sounds great. I've been to a silent disco before. Really fun when you take the headphones off and then you hear people singing like little Shania Twain in this corner. You have some people over here, singing Queen, and then some modern rap or something. You're like, okay, this is pretty funny.
It
But
is
anyway,
funny. It is funny,
so awesome.
but
Okay,
it's
well,
fun.
it is. It is fun. I can give you that. And I'm not much of a go to a disco kind of guy, but I did enjoy it. So awesome. Well, what can you tell us about what you do?
So I have been in sales since 1981. Wasn't really my choice. I was kind of pushed into it, and I found my way to the insurance industry in 2017. And I've explored a couple of different companies until I found my home where I'm at today. Now, I mostly have done final expense. I did take a little time, a little detour, and sold some Medicare, which really was, even though I'm on Medicare, I didn't love selling it because I feel with final expense and income protection, it's something that a lot of people don't think they need, but they need. And my story is that my dad dropped dead at 44 of a heart attack. Um, my parents got married very young at 17 and 19, had me at 19 and 21, my brother 4 years later. So my mom was widowed at 42. Thank goodness she was a young widow, but with older children because they started so young. So I was 22. I was only 3 weeks out of college, and my brother was 18. And it was, of course, devastating. And somehow we had life insurance. My mom, still to this day, she'll be 86 in June, says she doesn't know exactly how, but we had it. And she thanks her lucky stars because she has no idea how she would have buried my dad if we didn't. So that was kind of the start to me ending up in this industry. Since 2020, when there were people dying left and right, and I was selling insurance, life and final expense at that time, I am I am I cannot believe how many people have passed away without insurance. And the pain in that family's life is just, it's palpable. And, I've seen GoFundMe's, I've seen bake sales, I've seen, people selling off their things to pay for their loved one's funeral. Or they really wanted to bury their loved one. However, they can't afford it, so they end up with a cremation because cremations are less than burials. Now, everything is going up. The inflation is real in the burial and cremation business too. So if someone thinks I'll do that tomorrow, well, two things. One, if they think they'll do it tomorrow, obviously tomorrow may not come. My dad dropped dead on the golf course. He and my mom were out there. And who thought that morning when he left that he wouldn't come home? So we never know when we're going to go. The only two things that are certain in life, death and taxes. So I'm pretty passionate about what I do and helping families protect their loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in a similar industry for a long time, and there's been stories, where I would go to somebody's house to have a meeting with them about this, and they'd go, "Hey, can you come back next week? I'm not feeling well." I come back, and they were in the hospital that day. It happens. People, it gets backburnered until it's too late a lot of times, which is heartbreaking. But on a lighter note, what is it that you love most about what you're doing?
I love when the light bulb comes on for someone and they realize how important it is to do this for their family. And I also love the calls that I've gotten, which are horrible in one sense, but the calls that I've received when a family has found my phone number because their loved one had signed up for a life insurance policy with me and they need to cash it in because their loved one has passed away. Um, on the opposite side, the most horrible call to get is the one where, a daughter called and said, I found your number on my daddy's nightstand and he hadn't signed up for it. So that's the passion for me, is getting as many people covered so that their loved ones don't have to not only grieve because it's a horrible time, but then have to figure out how they're going to scramble to pay for the final expenses.
Absolutely. When you're looking at your average client, what does that look like? What are the pain points, or what are the people that you're best able to serve?
So, a lot of the people that I'm talking to are seniors. Now, we can offer policies from zero on up. but our average client is between 50 and 85. We do cover children and grandchildren, and our so a senior oftentimes is either retired or on disability. They're on Social Security, so they're on a fixed income. So helping them to be creative, to find that money in their already tight budget, is something that is a challenge. However, if I can appeal to their emotions about what happens when they pass away without it, that's when I can usually say, hey, can you, well, and especially if they're a smoker, hey, can you smoke one cigarette less a day? Or, can you, if they're a Starbucks drinker, can you go twice less a week? Or, so we have those conversations about what they do in their daily life. And I tell a lot of stories. I think stories really sell. And my story about my dad is powerful. My story about other options, like a cancer, heart attack, and stroke policy, which I would need to refer out in the most cases. My dad dropped dead of a heart attack. My mom had breast cancer 20 plus years ago, so she's a survivor. And my daughter had thyroid cancer, and she's a survivor since March of 2022. So all of those things, accidental death, cancer, heart attack, and stroke, and final expense insurance, I don't care what I do, but those bills come first for me. And I wish I could transmit that passion to everyone over the phone. However, I do what I best can, and find the ones that are willing to understand that leaving their loved ones without the money to pay for their final expenses is a hardship.
Absolutely. When you're looking at the people you best synergize with, your average power partner or other industries or professionals that you find a lot of opportunity to refer back and forth with, what does that look like?
Well, obviously, people who are in the Medicare arena, because they pretty much the same demographics. And the other type of referral partners are, people. I have some property and casualty insurance referral partners, because I don't sell property and casualty insurance. So if someone is talking to me and needs that, I have, a certain person or persons, depending on, what state we're in, that I refer to. So those are usually really good as well. Interestingly enough, mortgage brokers are usually pretty good as well, because after someone buys a house, we can help make sure that the loved one can pay for that house when their loved one passes away.
Absolutely. What advice would you give to a new or an aspiring entrepreneur?
Whew. Okay. Put your blinders on. Um, Go, especially in my industry, but I believe in any entrepreneurial industry, life distracts us. And if you put your blinders on and you work hard now, then you can reap the rewards later. And so, um, being that I did choose at this point to make a change with the company that I'm representing, I am rebuilding, and I have a 3, 5, and 10-year plan. I follow in my mom's footsteps. She still works. She's going to be 86. She has she works with the company called LifeWave. She does those stem cell patches. And so she is still working, and she loves what she does. She loves helping people. I guess I get it naturally. And so for a budding entrepreneur, just know that it's going to be blood, sweat, and tears, but it's really worth it in the end. And knowing that you are working for yourself and not for someone else. And in my business, I'm working for myself, but not by myself, because I have a team of people that can help me. Whether if I'm stuck on a call and I'm having a conversation with someone who is backpedaling and saying, "Well, I don't know if I can afford that," I have a team of people that can help me make the person help. I shouldn't say make the person help the person understand how important this is. Did that answer your question?
Sure. Yeah. I don't. There's no right answer. I
Okay.
just like to hear people's experience because, you said you got started in 2017, so you've seen a lot of it. So you've already given a lot of reasons for this next question, but just to put a cherry on it, why is final expense insurance so important for families today?
Well, again, the sites I've seen with people whose family members passed without it, it can be devastating. If you, the viewer, has lost anyone in your life, the grief itself is horrible. But then having to rush around trying to figure out how are we going to pay for this? And again, if someone is dead set, didn't mean to use that word, but dead set on a burial, but they didn't have insurance and their family can't afford it, they often end up having to do a cremation or something else so that they can afford it in their budget. So if they budget now for putting protection in place, their family does not have to have that burden later. And it's a hard thing to transmit that thought to someone who's like, I'm on a fixed income and I'm already struggling. However, do you want your family to struggle? And I appeal to the emotion whenever I can.
What's the difference between life insurance and income protection insurance?
So, life insurance in the final expense mode is to pay for those final expenses, like the end of life expenses that we kind of forget. If somebody's in the hospital at the end of their life, they may have hospital bills, the funeral, the burial, the procession. So that's final expenses. Income protection would be, so let's say someone is still working, and their family is used to a certain amount of money. The income protection plan would send a certain amount, whether it's 300, 500, $1,000 a month, to the family so they can become accustomed in that first year or two of the lack of income of their spouse. Make sense?
Absolutely. How can the right insurance plan give your loved ones peace of mind?
So it's interesting that you say that, because actually, one of the companies that we work with has a policy that's actually called Peace of Mind. And in my mind, again, for me, I'm going to use my own example. I don't want my daughters burdened with having to, find the money for my end of life expenses, my cremation, my, everything that I've chosen. And so I've put life insurance in place so that they don't have to do that. So I feel that to appeal to the masses, if we have it, we have peace of mind that that'll be covered. If we don't have it, we might get towards the end of our life and think, and the older we get, oh, I didn't mention this, the older we get, the more expensive putting life insurance in place is. So the sooner you do it, the better.
Okay. Why you? What sets you apart from everybody else out there doing something similar?
Oh, and there are so many of us. I know that. So I feel what sets me apart is truly my passion and the fact that I've been through it. I think a lot back to, and it was 44 years ago when my dad passed, and I think back to how hard that was on us as a family. And I can't imagine. And my mom at that point was working. I don't know if she was part owner of her company yet or not. She owned a staffing company back in the suburbs of Chicago back then. but she was working. But I still cannot imagine the pain, the additional pain to having lost our dad and her husband, and then having to figure out how to pay for the funeral. And we had a beautiful funeral. He was young, so there were hundreds of people. I mean, standing room only, in the chapel. So, I feel that I'm from the heart. And I sure hope that everyone I talk to hears that they're not just a number for me, that they're a family. And when they sign up for a policy with me, their family can call me when they're in need at the end of someone's life.
Absolutely. Is there anything that I missed or I failed to ask that you wanted to add?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I love this process.
Yeah. Well, there's people out there that are going to have questions, and there's a lot to this, and there's all the rabbit holes you can go down to. There's so many different products and different strategies and ways to do this, and all the carriers. So, for people that have questions, what's the best way they get a hold of you? How can they find you?
Uh, the best way is to text me. And then I'm also going to give a website. So my text number is 678-596-7879. Should I repeat it or is that okay?
No, I'm going to copy it, put it all in the show notes.
Awesome. Okay, and then the site to reach me on is www dot the S is in Sam, L, S is in Sam, way.com/W Epstein, which is Epstein. And if it's easier, just text me.
Perfect. And like I said, I'm going to put all that in the show notes, so you don't even have to spell it out or try to write.
Oh,
Just go there and take a look. So we'll make it really easy for everybody, so you don't have to go back and listen to it, over and
awesome.
over and over. So
Fantastic.
if anybody would like to get a hold of Wendy, absolutely do it. You're going to walk away knowing more than you did going in. She's the exact same in a one-to-one as she is on here. So don't be intimidated or shy. Have that conversation, whether it be, to find help or to, create a partnership or a relationship. I can't encourage that more. If anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Wendy. If you or somebody would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Wendy, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your story with us. You're doing awesome things. You're helping a lot of people. So really appreciate all you're doing. But let's all go. Have an awesome day and grow our circles. All right.
Thank you. This was fantastic.
My pleasure.